Hello. So I'm gonna be doing a little short video. I debated a lot whether or not to make this video, but I figure I don't know, it's worth knowing and it's something a lot of people have been wondering about. So I'm going to be introduced. What I'm going to call is basically the Joseki that beats AI, at least for now. So this Joseki is pretty popular, and the move that is very popular right now in pro play is this Hane at 013. So there's kind of a few things about this that I think is interesting. This variation actually came up from AlphaGo 0, but in those games, black usually played here or here, followed by white descending, black cutting, and white following like this, and then black would play here or Atari. This is kind of a trade. White gets the corner, which is pretty nice, but black gets a decently strong outside. And this cut is very important because if, for instance, I think this Hane is very important. If, for instance, white just descends, black can play like this. And you notice that white is forced to Atari, right? There's no other. If you just go here, you're going to die. And this one doesn't work either. So have to Atari. Atari and connect. And this turn is also Sente. And then this Hane will be Sente later. And so throughout this whole sequence, black gets a very strong outside wall. Sorry. So this Hane is important, and in pro play, we see this variation very often. White has to play here, otherwise the corner will die. Like this. I guess technically white could live, but then the outside would be terrible. So at this point, white doesn't really have a move. You can play something like this, but it's very hard to keep black from taking here the corner. Whoops. And even if you throw in and descend, this one would be a Seki, but you have to deal with a lot of bad aji here. I'm pretty sure there's also an issue here, which is black could clamp, in which case we get a ko here, which would be pretty annoying for white. And to be honest, I actually haven't seen this move, because normally, so now I'm thinking about it, you could play here, and then white's kind of stuck. Normally white plays here, in which case you can Hane here, and connect is usually good enough, or take. If white trades like this, right, then just extending is fine. Technically, white can teneki, but then no, I can't. Sorry. Yeah, so just here. And then all of these moves are Sente, and black's outside is really, really good. So this is actually what I've seen in my games. Sometimes white will play, but if nothing else, white should play here to prevent black from just killing the corner. And then when black Hane is, white connects here. And then white in this shape will usually block here to save the corner. And then the key move, and this move I learned because Park Young-won played it against Kujie at the World Go Championship like a month ago or so, by extending here. Now this move, if you put in the AI, occasionally Elf will find it. Most of the time they won't. None of the AIs will find it, like Leela or Fine Art, at least when I've reviewed with Fine Art. And so this move is quite interesting, and this is actually very instructive because this move requires a ladder. And it actually seems to suggest to me, because I can't find a good, any good line with for white after black extends here, if the ladder is good for black, which seems to suggest that this Hane from black is only really possible when the ladder is good for black, and that this cut, this inside cut, to me seems like it only really works when the ladder is good for white. And so we'll get to this ladder. And now that I'm mentioning ladders, you could probably why, like when I play people who are probably, I don't know for sure, but probably using bots online, I can beat them with this Joseki. Because the 3-3, this 3-3 is very common, and Elf particularly likes to play it. Okay, so the move, the most definitive move is for white to play here. I'm not going to go into all the variations because that would take forever, but I'll go into like the most common ones. So after white jumps, so you might wonder, what if white just takes the stones? I actually had this in a tournament game a little while ago, and you can just Atari. And actually here, in the tournament game I played here, but actually this isn't really necessary or very good. Well, not necessarily good. Actually, at this point, black can Tenuki. And you might think that black's losing a lot in the corner, but actually if you count, 5, 6, 7, it's only about 21 points. And this was black can get Sente, but this was black's corner, so it's kind of a wash. But 21 points Sente influence is actually usually very valuable, especially when it's like a perfect strength like this. Also, there's a little hidden benefit here, which is black has so many co-threats. And the other thing is if black ever Hanes, or black can also play this way to get the cut, it's very possible at this point that you might be able to get this Hane and Sente, which is actually quite huge. This one doesn't really work now because you're just too short. But if you ever get this shape, there's a potential that if you surround this side, these stones may still have to be taken off. So things to keep in mind. Mostly though, black has lots of co-threats. On top of very thick strength on the outside, and Sente like half board or quarter board wall. So what move should white play? White should jump, which is actually what Kujia played. And at this timing, black can play this Hane exchange. White could also go down, but I'll talk about that for a little bit later. It doesn't really make a difference. And then black can attach. And here's where the ladder begins. So because white has two options, white can wedge, which is actually what the AIs all really want to do, or white can block, which is actually the better move, is to just block. If white blocks, black can connect, and this is in the Kujia game, white haunted, but actually if you research this with AI, they play a move that doesn't really work, which is to push here, and the reason this doesn't work is at this point, black and Atari once, throw in, Hane, block, connect, and white's actually dead. So you might Hane, block like this. But you notice the key thing is that first white has to defend here, and this Atari still keeps white in the shortest liberties. So black can go here. Oh, sorry, did I say white was dead? Okay, it's Seki, but this Seki is really, really bad because now this extension is Sente. So, I had thought for some reason, I had thought, oh, can you just go here? My bad. Yeah, I mixed it up with the Seki variation. So black can just kill because white can't approach on either area because of this Atari. It's like pretty sure white dies. Anyway, yeah, sorry, it's hard to play these out in. It's been a while. Okay, so usually here, could you play here, and then in that game, black Ataris, and then just presses. And actually, pressing on this shape is very effective because white doesn't really have many good responses. Usually white has to like crawl or just slide. And slide is not bad, but often white has a stone here, which means black can get forcing moves against it. Like this, for instance, which will let black attach here and force white into a not so great life, basically. So instead of this, so this is possible, but And this is kind of like the best white can do. And with the AI, this is a little bit good for black usually. And now the other move, the wedge. So this move order is kind of important. Black should extend first. And when black extends, you might think, oh, well, white can just cut. But actually, this is very hard because you can Atari and push and cut. And now white is kind of stuck. White has to defend this. But black can just continue. And no matter where white plays, white's dead. If white plays from this side, black can Atari here. And if white plays from, I don't know, here, you're still stuck, right? So white has to connect. Black Ataris, white connects and jumps. And this is kind of normal, and white usually will push once. Doesn't have to, but that's pretty normal. And then this is kind of the normal shape point, or here. They're kind of the same thing. If white just pushes, black can come up from the second line to the third line and make a decent territory, and eyes more importantly, and white still owes a move here. So white has to jump, black can push, and it's very important not to bulge like this, even though this seems tempting. It's actually better to just attach and push. And often white will make this exchange to settle it, and you normally expect like a white stone here. And this seemed at first glance really bad because black is crawling so much. And so most of the time, like if you check this with Elf thinks like this is like horrendous. Although at a certain point it starts breaking. And the key move here for black is to actually connect here. Now this looks very weird. And you might say, okay, well black has one eye here. So if white takes the other eye, like this, black is in trouble. But actually, black can cut, and white doesn't have a move. If white just extends, black can capture these stones. If white Atari's out, there's nowhere to go. And the only real move that white can try is to jump here. But when black Ataris like this and pushes, then when white connects, it's a ladder. And so this was the ladder I was talking about way back when. And if white connects, then white's actually just really dead. These are miai. Whoops. So at this point, white has to defend the cut. Black can live, white can live, and then black will usually make shape over here. This move is pretty good because it protects against this cut, which is often a problem for black because of the attachment here. So, but in this particular shape, black can block like this. Wait. Did I mess up? No, that's right. Oh, we can just extend. And like this, it's a squeeze. Yep. Had to read that out. Yeah, so this move protects against this cut in a pretty efficient way. We could also just play one space closer to be a bit more secure. Or if you have like some support around the other edges, right, you can make normal extension or something more in the center. But they're all pretty much kind of the same idea as protecting these cuts. And as an end result, this is actually quite good for black, because even though black seems quite unsettled here, or not unsettled, but quite low, black has actually a decent amount of points, like 7 points, and this wall of white is very useless. The corner is still open, and this is like only a couple points, and this wall of blacks is much more useful because it's coming around the head, this edge of white. So that's kind of the key point, is that white, the reason this works so effectively against the AI is that there's this ladder that comes out later, and the AIs are not very good at seeing that. Oh, and you might also wonder, what if white Atari is here? You could just connect. And it's quite hard. If white comes here, you can just take, and then you can go to kill this. And it's ko, but realistically this ko is quite difficult for white. Like any move black plays elsewhere. Before we were saying in our original variation, this corner, white could have killed it anyway in the other way, and given black sente, but now white has to spend another move and black takes sente again to actually finish it, right? Because if white answers and takes, and then white plays another move, if black connects, it's a seki, like this. And just to make it clear, black can't approach. Let's go this way. And this would be already good for black because this whole white group could be harassed. But black could also make it bigger, right? Play like this. And then we're playing for this corner to die, or the life of this corner. So white would have to normally just connect, and black can still jump. And we actually get into the same variation, like this, and you notice that the key thing is that this Atari actually filled white's liberty, so black can just cut right away. And we have the same ladder. And so this is kind of like what I'd call my the AI Killing Joseki. At least for right now, where the bots are not able to figure this out. And then the last thing I'd say is, like, so in this point, the key thing is you have to remember many shapes. This is already a very good result just to take sente here for black. And what about other extensions? To be honest, I haven't looked at them too much, but let's say something like this. This attachment still works. Mainly because after this, oh, sorry. White has an issue with this peep. And it's kind of, and also the ladder if it's working. It's kind of outside the scope of what I wanted to cover. But I'll just show you this one, because this one is also something I've seen fairly frequently online. Black can just Atari and push. And the key move here is for white to jump back like this. But then black can still tenuki, and you still have all the aji in the corner left later. If white blocks, black can just cut because the ladder is usually good for black. And so then white would just have to push like this. And even like at this point, this is quite a pain for white because this turn is sente. If white ignores, then black can play here. Like this. And this is a pain because white has 6 liberties. Black also has, well, white has 5 and black has 5 and they have 1 share, but black has the corner, which is going to give black a few extra liberties, which is quite a pain. And actually, when this half becomes like a seki, this corner will oftentimes die, which means everything dies. So, yeah. Okay, so the main thing here is just, if you get nothing else away, my current feeling is that this cut actually relies on a ladder, and I want to go back and check the AlphaGo 0 games to see about the ladder. And the ladder actually runs this way, right past the start point. So I want to see if that's actually the case. And because I remember, actually the games where this cut was played, it's not played in the first empty corner, which is quite interesting. So I'll have to check that. And the other thing is maybe just connecting was fine too. So yeah, give it a shot. This Joseki is very complicated, but if you know it, it can definitely give you a leg up on your competition. And I have actually just won so many games directly around the 8 dawn, 7 dawn mark on Fox because of people, maybe they are not using Leela, maybe they just like have learned this shape, but it's not uncommon at all for people to play here and then suddenly die just because of this ladder. Okay, thanks for watching and hope you got something out of it. Thanks.